Today from r/EntitledParents. Entitled mother thinks I owe her $10,000 compensation because her son grew up to be a thug, just like I said he would. Apologies, but this one's long, as there is some context to get out of the way. Years ago, my cousin Lucy and I had a strained relationship because her son, Damien, did anything he wanted, never punished him, and brushed away anything he ever did as boys will be boys, or he's just a kid, etc. It came to a breaking point between us when Lucy and Damien were visiting years ago. Damien was 12 at the time, and my daughter Maggie was 9. Maggie was sitting happily playing her Xbox in her bedroom upstairs, while Lucy and I were talking. Damien got bored and wandered off. A few minutes later and I hear screaming and crying. I rush up to Maggie's room and find her on the floor, blood all over her face, while Damien is just casually playing the Xbox. It turns out he came up and demanded a turn on the Xbox. Maggie said sure, just let me finish the level. So he snatched the controller from her hand and smashed her around the face with it, then shoved her out of the way. I rushed her to the hospital. Luckily it looked worse than it was. There was no lasting damage, and I live in the UK so no medical bills, but I was furious. I told Lucy what Damien did and she shrugged and said, "You know how boys are with their video games. She should have just let him play." I told her in no uncertain terms that she and her son were not allowed anywhere near me or my family. We got into a huge fight over this, where she of course tried to absolve her little angel of anything. So I lost it and told her if she didn't discipline him and teach him boundaries, she would just end up raising a monster who would grow up to be a thug or worse, which infuriated her. This caused fallout with the family for years, largely because Lucy lied and told everyone her son and Maggie had just been play fighting, and that's how she got hurt. It was just an accident, and I was overreacting. After a few years, everyone forgot. I still forbade Lucy or her hellspawn from coming anywhere near me. Several other families did the same. I can't imagine why. Fast forward to a little before the pandemic. Damien was 19, just like I predicted. He soon learned that, thanks to his mother, he was bulletproof, and she would never believe anything he did was wrong. So his behavior got worse and worse, to the point where he was kicked out of every school in the area and had to go to a special school. I got a call from Frank, Lucy's brother, telling me Lucy had been rushed to the hospital, and he knows we don't talk, but Lucy was seriously hurt, and he wanted to let me know. Despite our history, I went to visit Lucy, accompanied by Frank and his wife. Before this, we had been really close, and I was upset to hear she was hurt. When I got there, I was shocked by what I saw. She was really banged up, her face swollen, bruises all up her arms. It turned out Damien had done this. She was really struggling for money, and he refused to get a job. So she finally tried to lay down the law and tell him to get a job, or she was throwing him out. So he attacked her, almost dislocated her jaw. It was horrific. Now we had a history, but at this point none of that mattered. I was worried and sad for her. I immediately asked her if she needed help with anything. She seemed surprised, but we ended up all having a really heartwarming chat, with her saying how much it meant to her that I came to see her. I thought maybe we were turning a corner and could repair our relationship. We had been really close as kids. Oh, how wrong I was. A few weeks later, I started getting blasted on social media and getting nasty messages and texts telling me what an awful person I was and how I could do what I did to Lucy. I was confused. I hadn't done anything. I called Frank. He had no idea either, but said he would look into it. Turns out Lucy had told everyone I had come to the hospital and mocked her, gloating "I told you so," while she bawled her eyes out. I confronted Lucy about it, asking her how she could lie like that. She hit back that this was my fault, it's what I deserved. If I knew this was going to happen, why I didn't do more to help her. Then she demanded I pay her at least $10,000 for the damages I caused. Like, what the hell? She lied to everyone because she couldn't stand that I had been right and decided to punish me for it. For months I endured hateful messages from family members who believed her lies. Not all of my family believed her, of course, and Frank and his wife cleared things up about what really happened. He managed to record Lucy admitting that she lied, which got most off my back. But there was still a few relatives who had it in their heads, there's no smoke without fire, and I must have done something to make her say what she did. But they're all distant relatives on her side, so who cares? Then the pandemic rolled around. Everyone forgot about the petty squabbles Lucy and her lies caused. But last month, we had a family gathering at my parents'. The first in years due to the pandemic. Lucy showed up. Thankfully, Damien was absent on account of serving a prison sentence for aggravated assault and battery, unrelated what he did to his mother. I went to ask Lucy how she was doing. The first words out of her mouth were, "You need to pay me what you owe. If you don't, I'm taking you to court. I need that money. It's the least you can do for ruining my life." She followed me around the party demanding I pay her, telling everyone who would listen that I had ruined her life. My, what a happy family reunion.